Human trafficking and forced labor, a vast and complex trade in men, women and children, found in every country in the world.
أنا عشت في الشارع وكل حاجة بعملها في الشارع.
And the campaign led by Egypt's first lady to stamp it out.
We do have today what is referred to as modern-day slavery. I think this is totally unacceptable.
How her call to the business world for help is being answered.
This guy has two choices. Either he says no, I won't sell my daughter, or he says yes, sacrifices one girl and everybody can survive for the next year or two. Does he have a choice? I don't think so.
It is in their own interest to tell the community at large, yes, we are here, we are companies, we are working, we are making profit, but we are paying back to the society.
Cairo, Egypt's capital city. With a population of 20 million, it is one of the largest cities in Africa. One of the most ancient and modern in the world. But scratch below the surface, and Egypt is tackling one of the most ancient and most modern of crimes: human trafficking.
I myself was not really aware that such a problem as human trafficking really existed. I heard about it, I read about it, but for me it was always a problem that was out there, a distant problem that never really existed in my own society.
For many years, Egypt was seen as a transit country, a route for trafficked human beings to pass through on their way to their final destinations in the Middle East. But within Egypt, human trafficking has not been on the agenda. Until now.
I came to realize that what we were talking about here really was a market of human life. Women and children in particular were being sold and resold into like commodities according to the economic principle of demand and supply at a rate of a market price.
A once hidden problem is becoming impossible to ignore. Underage marriage, once a common practice, has now been made a crime. In 2009, over 9,000 cases of underage marriage were recorded in Egypt.
بعد ما رجعت بقى كانت تعبانة يعني كان بيضربها على طول فودناها يعني المستشفى نزفت من كتر الضرب نزفت.
This woman's daughter was just 11 years old when she was married off.
We're talking about the fear of physical abuse. We're talking about the loss of dignity. We're talking about the total destruction of human life.
The district of Tamua is one of the many poor areas in Egypt that has over the years been targeted. Men from the surrounding countries, supposedly on holiday, come with the sole intention of buying a child bride. But the Egyptian authorities are responding. The legal definition of human trafficking has been changed. It now includes any form of child exploitation, from physical and sexual abuse to the early marriage of young girls for profit.
Child marriage is a severe form of violence. So in 2002, we've decided to put children at risk as a top national priority. We went to Parliament proposing to raise the minimum age of marriage for the girl from 16 to 18 and we were faced by strong opposition. In spite of the opposition, we passed it, and this really made the change. We did not only expose it, we did not only criminalize the perpetrators, but we empowered the victims.
Human trafficking has previously been a taboo subject, but the silence is being broken.
دي بنت عندها 14 سنة.
The girl you are listening to is the friend of an underage bride who was sold by her father for $900.
مش مشكلة في سبيل ال 5000 جنيه اللي قالها ادوهم لي ان انا اعمل مشروع لاخواتي.
The 14-year-old was too afraid to make the call herself.
البنت دي قالت ان انا لما بشتغل في بيت وولاده بمعنى اوضح بيتحرشوا بيها. البنت ماتت وهي في الشارع، طب بالعكس طالبهم بال 5000 اللي هو دفعهم. ايوه قبل كده عشان يساعد البنت طبعا هذا القدر وكانت اولاد يعني صرفت الفلوس. ايوه فكانت مأساة. هي دلوقتي لا تثبت حقها هي بنت تلاقي لها
The anonymity of a phone call can feel like the safest way for an underage bride to reach out for help. With this in mind, after the change in the law in 2002, the Egyptian authorities set up a national network of helplines.
احنا بنتكلم مع البنت، نحاول نهديها، نحاول نقول لها ان احنا هنا المكان هيقف معاكي وهيحميكي، وكيفيه ان احنا نتصل بيها بدون برضو ما حد من اهلها يعرف.
When we find a violation, we throw the light on it, and throwing the light on it helps other victims to come forward and speak.
The number of calls to the helpline increases annually. In its first year, it uncovered nearly 10,000 cases of underage marriage.
They are frightened and they are scared, afraid of the traffickers and afraid of, from the pimps that may harm them. I can remember that a girl who called us, she was a servant. She was married 3 times per month. And sure, this is not a legal marriage. This is a form of prostitution.
The sheer volume of cases exposes the extent to which human trafficking permeates Egyptian society and highlights the cultural acceptance of the problem.
We have to work with the community, with the parents, with the religious leaders, who have to convince, first of all, the parents that this is not the right thing to do for children. And I think this is the beginning.
In Tamua, the head of Egypt's anti-trafficking unit is overseeing a meeting, hoping to engage local families and community members. It's a time for parents, daughters, and religious clerics to discuss underage marriage.
بهدله واهانه وكل حاجه وحشه عايشين عذاب بهدله من حماتها. انا عندي حاله موجوده دلوقتي في مستشفى الجنان بقى لها 3 ايام في العلاج مركزه، طلع نتيجه طلع تدمر حمل الحاله يعني تعتبر منتهيه.
A safe place for the community to question age-old culture and customs, such as unofficial temporary marriages conducted by Muslim clerics.
الموضوع لما بيعلن الزواج في الجامع وعارفه انها خاطب وعارفه انها مش متزوجه وعارفه انه عقد عرف.
في بقى الله اعلم بعد القديم في المدن كانوا بيعملوا المشكله دي.
The religious authorities also agree it's time for change.
الإسلام لم يأمر بهذا، وطبعا وكما نعلم بأن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعني لو كان حيا وموجود بين أيدينا الآن يعني لم يترك هذا الأمر.
Egypt's senior cleric, the Mufti of Egypt, issued a fatwa. It declared the early marriage of girls to be against Islamic law and removed the authority of any parent over an underage daughter where such a crime is committed. And for the first time in a Middle Eastern country, the Egyptian authorities have jailed 40 clerics, who will serve a minimum of 2 years in prison for carrying out illegal child marriages. This could set a precedent for the rest of the Arab world.
If you don't make the law work, then the law is useless. Of course, it's important to have a legal framework, but if it's just a piece of paper, it's no good.
As the institutions and law are changing in Egypt, big business is also tackling the underlying causes of human trafficking.
Behind every job that you create as a businessman, you have eliminated a source of child abuse, child slavery, forced labor, etc.